Hello, it is Monday, Memorial Day, and I don't have work today. Thank goodness, because I went to a wedding last night, and I am very tired today. Here is photographic evidence. So yeah, that's Matt and I. So, instead of writing yesterday, I took a fucking hour to curl my hair because I have a lot of it. Did that, went to a wedding, came home, fell asleep, and now it's the next day. And I just wrote like 500 words. So total in chapter 3 right now is 2,701 words. It's not a lot compared to what I had last week. Last week I was able to complete chapter 2 in like from Sunday to Sunday, and now it's Monday and I have not finished. So it's gonna take maybe a few more days to actually finish up chapter 3, I think, because I do have a little bit to get through, maybe a day. I don't know. I'm so bad at estimating how long it's going to take me to get to a certain point in the story. But I did get to write some fun stuff. Right now she's on a planet that's kind of like a tourist trap, because it used to be... Okay, so basically what I'm thinking is kind of like California, Sacramento area was like gold rush, you know, and now it has some kitschy, touristy stuff about the gold rush. So this satellite that she's at right now is kind of like the same deal, but for like iron work. So she is there right now, and things are going... She's already kind of made the decision to do something kind of stupid, and she recognizes that this is kind of stupid, but is like, well, I have to do it. I've made the decision that I'm gonna do this, and now I'm going to, pretty much. Because I've been reading this book that's, like a nonfiction about, kind of like space, and I think it might, what is it called, like Hidden Reality or something like that? I thought it was gonna have more stuff about like wormholes, but instead it's kind of like parallel universes and stuff like that, and like the mathematical and physical foundation for parallel universes. And for a moment last night I was like, huh, maybe she could go to a parallel universe. And then I was like, that is a totally different story, so no. But I did think about it for a little bit. I look kind of bad today. I look like a painting of an old lady. Like, I just...
Well, at least you look like a painting, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. It's probably just because I don't have my glasses on. What did I write today?
Action! Rolling. Sound speed.
So, today, I've written 385 words, apparently. It is Tuesday. And I have stopped mid-sentence because I needed to figure out a logistical problem. I needed to. Matt said needed with a question mark over in the other room, because I talked to him about this before filming just now, and he seems to think I've gone a little too far. So here's the problem. My main character is... I don't know how much to give away, but I don't think this is too much. She needs to go to a certain location, which is on the surface of this satellite. And she is with a group of people on a tour, and she needs to break away from this group to get to this certain location. And I need to know how much time it's gonna take her to get there and what that distance is, because there is a guy who is driving a bus who would be able to see her if it's too small of an amount of time. And I need to know how fast... Wait. Shit. Why did I need to know this again? I want to know if she's moving faster than usual or not. Because I feel like that's something that if you are trying to get to a location quickly and you're moving faster than usual, you'd be like, hell yeah, this is great. Or if you're moving slower than usual, you're gonna be like, oh my god, just fucking get me there. That's the motivation for me figuring out this information. And so I googled what on Earth's moon the walking speed is like. But the tricky thing is that from our, like, actual moonwalks, people were in some buck wild spacesuits that weren't very good, and so they had to hop all over the place, and I was like, that seemed kind of slow, probably. So I found an article where they actually did in, like, moon gravity, studies of people not in spacesuits, because it was in like a parabolic flight, whatever. They could figure out what the transition from walk to run speed was in that gravity, which gives me some of the information that I need. The walk to run transition on the moon is 3.1 miles per hour. Whereas on the Earth, it's 4.5 miles per hour. So I think that means that you would be slower on the moon than you would be on the Earth. Like, it wouldn't take you as long to, like, then start running. Which, I don't know, it just fucking confuses me. Let's just say, if you're at the state where you're walking so fast that you're about to run, that you would, in that state, be faster on the Earth than you would be on the moon. So our girl is used to a planet that is, I believe, about the size of Mars. I'm pretty sure that's what I made it. So it wouldn't be as huge of a, like, transition for her on the moon, on something the moon's, like, size, but I don't know what size of, like, body she's on, except that it's, like, an iron rich satellite. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's kind of like the moon in that case then. I'm gonna go with she's not as fast as she usually is, and then it's gonna take her about, what? So it's gonna take her about 9.7 minutes to travel half a mile if she's at this brisk walk state. Whereas on Earth it would take her like 6.7 minutes. So that's what I figured out. But that's like a little bit long, 9.7 minutes, because this bus driver has presumably gone out just to like pee. The point of view is from the main character. It's not omniscient, so we can't go back and see that the bus driver is on like a smoke break. Or also, how would you do a smoke break if you had to be in a spacesuit? So we don't know what, or like if this bus driver's taking a dump or something. All she knows is she didn't see him when she left. But I'm kind of like wanting to add some like, ooh, intrigue if he sees her at some point. So anyway, I guess I'm gonna go with it takes her 9.7 minutes. Literally, this doesn't matter to anyone except that I was wondering how she would feel about the speed that she was walking and how long it would take her to get there and how long that distance should be. So that's my writing update for today. I'm up to 3,097 words, which actually isn't that much. So I'm probably gonna get right up to the point where things get kind of whoa, and then I'll end the chapter there. That's the update that I have. So it is 8:38 on Wednesday, and I have a headache. I'm tired. and I have to write. So, yesterday I actually finished up writing chapter 3, and I formatted it in the way. So I'm doing this kind of a dumb thing where I format each chapter once I finish it, so that it's kind of in like a book format. So it's like a pocket paperback type size, just because I want to see about how long everything is, because I'm used to what a book is. Typing everything out into, 8.5 by 11, and then you're like, I think this is a chapter. Once you paste it into the format of like actual paperback size, you're like, oh, yeah, it is a chapter. Chapter 1 is 19 pages when it's the format size of a paperback book. Chapter 2 is 18 pages, and chapter 3 is 15 pages. It's much shorter, but I did get to a point where I was like, well, this is the end of the chapter. Whether or not I add in more stuff later during editing, I am going to end the chapter where I've ended it, unless I do something pretty substantial for a change. So now I have to work on chapter 4, and I don't know what I'm doing. Because all of like what I had planned and what I was getting to was this state. This, by the way, was the inciting incident. If you can say that one point is like the point that changes everything, this is that point. So now I've got to figure some stuff out. One of the major things that I have to do is actually have a definitive, like, this is the conflict, because I have something that this character has done which will cause conflict, but I don't know specifically what that kind of antagonist looks like. And I have some ideas, but I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I think I'm gonna write to whatever point I get stuck at, and then think about it, and hopefully I'll have like the aha moment that I had trying to figure out how she was gonna get to this inciting incident. I only got to 3,245 words in chapter 3, which is why it's shorter than all the other ones. But, oh my god, I gotta sneeze. Alright, so here's the thing. I started, and I wrote 43 words. The problem here is, I'm trying to figure out what would happen. Say, for example, I have no idea how wormholes work, because I didn't read about them. But here's my thought. So what I'm doing, that's not a wormhole probably, is, say for example, she uses something to create a wormhole, and she's on a satellite with minimal atmosphere, almost no atmosphere, and she creates a portal to a world that does have an atmosphere. Say, so if on Earth, let's see, so Mars' atmosphere is about 0.087 psi. On Earth, the atmosphere is 14.7 psi at sea level. So in Colorado, it's like 12 psi. So say it's like Colorado, it has an atmosphere of like 12 psi. We have 1 psi of atmosphere on the satellite that she's on. If she makes a portal between the two, isn't like a lot of fucking air gonna come pouring out of that portal? Right? How much is that? So say she makes like a 2-foot diameter hole. If you have 11 psi and it's going through a 2-foot hole, that's like a lot. That's like a windy day. Okay, wait. How can I look up if it was windy, what psi it feels like? See what force would be acting on her as she's trying to crawl through this hole. I don't know if anybody's ever said that it's easy to be a sci-fi author, but I feel like of the, like, 2 things I've considered scientifically, there's, like, a billion more that I haven't, that I'm just ignoring. Like, you can't just crawl through a hole from no atmosphere to an atmosphere and, like, not have a problem. I might be doing this wrong, but if you have 11 psi and you have a 12-inch radius hole, then you would have like 22,000 newtons, right? I think. And if you have 22,000 newtons, that's about the bite force of a shark / saltwater crocodile. But it's also still less than the average force applied by a seatbelt and airbag to a passenger that hits a stationary barrier at 100 kilometers. I think I'm just gonna say she feels like she's been hit by a airbag. And I think she can still go through the hole. If she's like, when then she like crawls and then she like flops over to the other side, then it won't feel like such a big deal. And then somehow she closes the wormhole, I don't know. You know, the bite force of an American alligator is only 9 kilonewtons. I bet you didn't know that.